go. Happy Thursday, Jeff.
Happy Thursday.
Welcome in,
everyone. Welcome in. Welcome in.
Look at that small crowd tonight. What are you guys doing? What's everybody up to? Is there something going on?
We're an hour early, so maybe throwing
probably
a little bit off. But we make accommodations for our special guests, and we do have a very special guest tonight.
We do.
We'll get to our man here in just a second.
It's going to be a good one. Before we get there,
remind everybody.
Well, who got here first? Let's look at that. Usually it's J-Bake, and
J-Bake ain't in here yet.
J-Bake.
He must not have got the word.
K-Spray again.
K-Spray.
Congratulations.
K-Spray wins.
7:13 p.m.
Fatality.
That's good stuff. Got the memberships pinned to the top of the chat. Please consider becoming a member as well. You guys know the drill. We got a lot to talk about. We're going to get to the recruiting stuff later in the show, so stick around. I know y'all love talking about that. We will talk about it, I promise. But we're going to go the special guest route first because he deserves.
Yes, he does. We're going to bring on our good friend, our Oxenreider himself. Welcome to the show.
What's going on, guys?
Welcome to the show, Cruz. I know we've been promising this for a while, but we got him.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming. It always seems like something's going on, but I'm glad we can finally make this work.
Yeah, live from Chi-Town, right?
Yeah, I'm still in Chicago. It's a big weekend, massive music festival going on right now. When you see smoke out, and then we're in the peak of just like perfect weather. And then we're in the 50 day. Tomorrow is 50 days. Tomorrow is officially 50 days till Alabama football's back.
Yeah, we're close, man. Really close. It's kind of crazy.
Days.
This off season has gone by really, really quick. I feel
it has. It's one of the ones where it's like the most. I'd say probably. It's not bragging like it normally is. Like in the last couple of years, I've done like this whole countdown stuff, and I've done like all the hype things and everything like that. It feels like it's just lingering on. But this one, I'm like, okay, like for example, like it feels like yesterday was literally Monday, and then now it's tomorrow's Friday. That's another Saturday closer. So I mean, like we're just speeding along this thing right now, and I love it.
Yeah. Dude, SEC Media Day starts in like 4 days, I think.
I know. I'm upset I'm missing it this year. I just got a few things going on here that I can't leave. But I will be in full attendance a lot this year in Tuscaloosa and all over not just Tuscaloosa, but a lot over SEC country.
They got Innisfreeze everywhere you're going, or how do you say that?
No, believe it or not, they don't. They should, but they don't.
He said they should. Oh, that's awesome. How you feeling about this year, man? How you feeling about this offseason?
I feel like we have done a great job this offseason. Everything I get told and I read and, just things here and there, it feels great, feels different. It feels like a lot of the players and personnel are pissed off for a good reason.
Yeah.
It feels like there's a lot of culture, that's been being built in this locker room right now, and not just players wise, but coaching wise, recruits wise. So it's a good feeling. I feel very confident right now. I think I'm a lot more excited about this year than I was last year. Mainly because I love everything we have coming back. I love the pieces that we've added in. I love the fact that no one transferred out. That was probably one of the bigger things for me that I talked to about a lot of people inside that saying like, hey, like the people, like the players did not want to go out the way they did. So if you look at it last year, it's a lot like Ohio State last year, like the way they went out to Michigan, the way that they were like, we're so much better than the way we played. There's no reason we should be missing the playoffs like this. They all came back for their senior years. They killed the transfer portal. They kept everyone in house, and look what they did last year. I'm not saying that we have as much talent coming back as Ohio State last year, but I will say that bringing those guys back that we did is going to go a long way. A lot of those guys not going, like the rumors about, Lawson going to the NFL, but him coming back. You look at Sab coming back for another year. You look at Jackson coming back for another year, and then you look at everything we brought back on the offensive line, at wide receiver, and just recruits, everything. So like my excitement level for this team realistically is about like a 9.
No, yeah, dude. I it's
love it.
interesting. I said this in a video we did not long ago. After going 9-4, losing to Michigan again in the same year, that whole thing, it felt like people were getting ready to write Alabama off. And then closer you get to season, people start to look at these position groups individually, and they're like, wait a minute, there's a lot of talent coming back. And it's like people don't understand, like, this is still a roster that's fielding 4- and 5-star guys all the way across the board. It's I don't know. Yeah, some of it is I think sensationalism. Your Paul Feinbaum, folks like that.
It's a lot of it's a lot of the online shows that you see nowadays. So you see like the Pates and the JD McHale's and the Blake Cranes and all those guys, and they do a fantastic job and everything like that. But you can get your college info so much easier nowadays instead of just reading the magazine. So all off season, you're just hearing things here and there, where it's like the only things we have to remember Alabama by this year. It seems like the Georgia game was like 3 years ago, and then you follow it up with the Vandy game, and then you follow that up with squeaking by a really close game with South Carolina, which we found out later how good South Carolina actually was. Yeah, good. And then you go lay, you lay down in Knoxville. That game we should have walked away by like a 10-point win in that game. Easy. And then of course, then you blow out Missouri, then you blow out LSU, and then you have a guaranteed spot in the SEC championship and a playoff spot, and then you lay an egg against Oklahoma, and then you still almost get in. And then the worst possible thing that could have happened with SMU and Clemson happened. And then, of course, you go to, which I was at that Michigan game. It was just awful for not just the way we played, but because of the weather, no one wanted to be there except Michigan. Like, their fans were having a blast. Like, it was just an awful all-around experience. And I think that left a very bad taste in not just Alabama, the team's mouth. I left it in the fans, definitely mine. And then you look at, that's the last thing fans remember watching. They watch Alabama get basically bodied by Michigan 2 years in a row on New Year's Day and New Year's Eve, and that's all they go off of. Now, they don't look at the fact that we have 4 out of 5 offensive linemen coming back, and then we added an all-SEC guard to replace Booker. They don't look at the fact that we probably have, I think, the best wide receiver room. You can make a case for Auburn. But I think adding Leonard, Williams, and then you add Horton, and then you have a few. Cole Adams is coming back. Rico Scott.
Jalen Hale is the expert.
Jalen Hale is rumored to be back, and I'm excited to see him.
That guy's good, I think.
There's a guy I will be very excited about because I think he's going to be a great red zone target, and that's Derek Meadows, the freshman out of Nevada. He's 6'5", runs almost a 4.5 40.
Long arms.
The kid is he's a long track star. Just put him in the red zone. Just toss it up to him. I would love to see what they're going to do with him. The one position I am worried about on offense, and believe it, it's not quarterback. I actually feel like Ty's going to come in and do a great job. The fact he's been in that system is tight end. Tight end's the one position that we really haven't had like a dominating force since I'd say Billingsley in 2020. He kind of fell off in 2021. And then CJ Dupree was. I thought he shined in moments. He was great at blocking, and he showed up in big times. But he didn't take the top off like Irv Smith or OJ Howard or guys like that. That's the one position I really want to see the offense expand on. I know that we have some Cuevas, the transfer who had some moments last year, and then I believe there's another kid that we end up keeping. But I want to
Lewis.
Lewis, and so. I really want to see if we can expand that role in the tight end position because I think that is something that would just make this I think this offense would make even more deadly. I think running back room we're more than okay. I think we're going to run 3 deep. I feel great about Richard Young. Richard Young reminds me a little bit of Josh Jacobs in a way. The way that he runs angry. He goes for contact. And I think Jam coming back was a big thing for him too. I thought Jam was the better back between the 3 last year. I thought Justice Haynes had his moments, but I thought he just never really clicked, and he never really fit. I feel like Jam was just a better overall fit for the offense, especially coming out of the backfield. So I'm really excited. And then defensively, I think we're the second best defense in the country behind Clemson. I think Clemson.
Really?
Clemson's got 3 guys who are going to go who can go top 10, top 15 in the NFL draft. Peter Lloyd's is the second coming of Warren Sapp. And then you look at our defense, I think we have the best secondary in the country. I love what we have coming back on the front 7. I think we added some really good pieces in the transfer portal, and then the guys we have coming in. I want to see Dijon Lee coming in as a freshman, 6'4" corner. Are you kidding me? Like, that's a freak right there. He's gonna kind of come in. I will miss Malachi Moore for a leadership position and what he brought to the field. But the safety combination between Sabb and Hubbard is going to be generationally awesome again. It's going to be like when we had, like, I'm trying to think who we had back in the back. Vinny Cincinnati and HaHa Clinton Dix kind of level. Ronnie Harrison and Eddie Jackson type vibe. The way, like, you're not going to want to throw deep on us because, like, we will either lay you out or we'll go up and get the ball. And that's what I feel about it. So
shout out Vinny Cincinnati.
The honky badger, baby. He's killing it right now at University of Florida. It's awesome. His girlfriend at the time in Tuscaloosa was my neighbor, and so I'd see him every once in a while. And one time I was actually said, "What's good, honky badger?" And he turned around and he just started laughing. I didn't know how he was going to take it, but he actually enjoyed it.
That's awesome.
But I will say it overall, I love what we have on paper. I also love what we kind of had on paper last year, and it didn't transition. But I also feel like this team is more put together. It's not like we're trying to squeeze a square into a circle. This feels like a perfect fit. I feel like our schedule, especially in the beginning, lines up. I like where we're going to be at. I think Ty's going to be able to get some really good reps going into Georgia weekend, especially with a bye week before. And then, of course, we get Tennessee, Oklahoma, and LSU and Vandy at home. And then, of course, we end the season at the House of Nightmares in Auburn. But I don't think Hugh Freeze is even going to be there, so I'm not really too worried about that.
Oh, whoa.
Wait.
Hot take. You think
can't
Freeze
just say that.
Make it to the Iron Bowl.
I can't just say that and sip your water, man.
I can. I think there are 3 coaches that are going to be fired by the end of the year, and I think Hugh doesn't make it. I think Brian Kelly's last year in LSU.
I would agree with that.
I think you can't have a team. I don't think you can have a team and a recruiting pipeline that loaded and underachieved the way he has had. Look, if he went undefeated or lost 1 game at Notre Dame, he was getting in the playoffs or he's going to make the national championship game and he get boat raced every time. LSU, I looked at their schedule. LSU is going to have 3 losses before they even get to Tuscaloosa. They're losing week 1 to Clemson. I don't even think that game is going to be close in Clemson. I don't think Nuss is all that in the bag of chips. I think he's an okay college quarterback. I think that's it. He's not Joe Burrow. He's just a guy.
Yeah.
I don't get that.
He reminds me of he's like a modern day like Zach Mettenberger to me. He is.
It's a great comparison.
I think Florida is better than they are. I think Florida's my dark horse to win the SEC this year or make it to Atlanta, especially with DJ Lagway. And then who else they have South Carolina, which South Carolina still won that game last year. You don't think South Carolina is going to go into that game pissed off? Especially they have, I think, the second best defensive player in America, Dylan Stewart. And that kid's just going to eat all day long. And then I think, too, you have Ole Miss. I like Ole Miss this year. I love Austin Simmons. I saw what he did going into the Georgia game when he took over for Jackson Dart. In fact, I think they still would have won the game had he taken over for Jackson Dart full time. And then, of course, you have Florida, you have Bama, you have I'm trying to think, Ole Miss, South Carolina, and then you have Oklahoma on there, which Oklahoma's going to be better this year too. And whoever just made that point, 5 offensive starters on the offensive line new. Are you kidding me? I mean, there's no way. Like, they were awful running the ball last year. Are they magically supposed to be better? Like, when LSU had this crazy run in 2019, which is everyone is trying to say, like, oh, it's a second coming of that. They had the best offensive line in America because I think they brought back 4 out of 5. They had Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and then, of course, they had arguably one of the best receiver rooms of all time. Like, they need to stop with this. I think LSU is in for a rude awakening. I think August 30th is where it's going to start. I think Clemson, they don't just win, they blow LSU out. Like, I think it's like one of those things where then we have 6 years in a row where Brian Kelly and LSU or not Brian Kelly, but LSU in general loses opening day.
It's interesting because, right now, everybody here likes to talk recruiting, but right now, LSU is doing a damn good job.
They always do.
But what happens? What happens in 3 months?
Exactly. So it's one of those things too. Like LSU is always going to be one of those programs that recruit great talent, because LSU, I will give this up. I've gone to a bunch of games. I've had a chance to go to the facilities. It is a sick place. Like, it is cool.
Yeah,
it is. It's like one of those things where I don't want one of our recruits, their last visit, to be at LSU because of how cool it's going to be on their mind. It's one of those things. But here's the thing: Les Miles and Coach O were cool guys. They love their kids. They would go to war for their kids. Brian Kelly does not love his players. He does not care about you. He didn't care about the kids at Cincinnati. He didn't care about the kids at Western Michigan. Didn't care about the kids at Notre Dame. He doesn't care about the kids at LSU. Like, it's so obvious the way he throws it. It's kind of like Hugh Freeze. He throws the kids underneath the bus. Like, he is what I would say the most unlikable coach in college football. I don't even think it's close. Like, people hate on Lane because he's arrogant, but yeah, Lane Kiffin's fun and people actually like him. Saban, they didn't like him because he won too much. He was mean, but they respected him. Kirby Smart's kind of the same way. Dabo Sweeney is like, oh, he's that Christian goofball who's just kind of corny, but yeah, he wins and the players love him. LSU is just right now, they need a guy like, and it's hard to say because I feel like they can win with just a CEO, and Coach O and Les Miles prove that hey, I just need to bring in the right coordinators, and then everything else takes care of itself, aka Joe Brady and Dave Aranda. And then you have, like, you go get I put it like this: you fire Brian Kelly, you go and write a blank check to Notre Dame and get Marcus Freeman, because you get Marcus Freeman down in LSU, they will dominate recruiting. Like, he will have a brick wall around Louisiana, and no one's getting out. And that's how it was when Saban was there. That's how it kind of was when Les Miles got there for a little bit. But Saban still handpicked Eddie Lacy and Landon Collins and Tim Williams and all these guys where I can go in. Louisiana needs to be shut down, and no one goes in. That's how it was with Pete Carroll in Southern Cal. That's how it was with Jimmy Johnson in Miami. Yeah. That's what it needs to get back to for them.
Now, speaking of hot seats and head coaches, the one right now who a lot of folks are talking about is Hugh Freeze. Yeah. Good old Hugh Freeze. Auburn right now is pretty much asleep in terms of recruiting. We all know, their excuse is that Freeze and Cohen have said that they're waiting until August 1st. They have this philosophy that a lot of dudes are just going to, leave their commitments because these schools aren't going to follow through with the promises. A lot of fake money being passed. I think that's bogus. Honestly, I think that they're playing their hand wrong, but
I do too.
I think Auburn. Go ahead.
No, I think too, Auburn right now is making excuses for Hugh Freeze.
Yeah, sure.
Look, I got a buddy who worked at Auburn. His last year was Hugh's first year, and no one has said a good thing about the guy when he's there. I don't think. I think recruits are starting to see that too. I think players in that portal who are leaving them. I think it's going to be like a Alabama-esque transfer level at the end of this. The way that when Saban retired, everyone started leaving them. I think it's going to be the exact same way when Hugh Freeze gets fired there. Talking Coleman, talking Perry, talking all those guys where they were like the state of Auburn. They ain't going to be in Auburn. They might be in Tuscaloosa next year, and they might be at other SEC schools. But it's a way. It's not that like. And I think Auburn is a top 10 job in America. I think that they are.
Can be, yeah.
I think they are a great fan base, passionate. I really do. I think Auburn fans truly love Auburn. I think Jordan Hare, when they're on, is one of the hardest places to play in football. I don't even think
the voodoo is real. The voodoo is so real.
I've seen the last 2 times we've gone to Auburn, and we should have boat raced them both times. And it took a 4 overtime miracle, and it took arguably one of the best plays in Alabama history to beat them. And then of course, I thought they should have hired Cadillac Williams. I thought Cadillac Williams was a great fit for him. Fans love him as a former player and a coach. Recruits loved him. He's a cool, young, energetic guy who I thought could bring back that like old school kind of swagger back when they had like Jason Campbell and Ronnie Brown and all those guys, like Takeo Spikes. Like I thought that was going to be a dangerous hire because they came into Tuscaloosa and gave us a run for our money for a little bit. And then the week before, I think they beat A&M or Ole Miss when they were top 10 or something like that. So like, I thought they fumbled the ball with that one. And now it's like, you look at who could come in and replace it. I mean, I don't really know Auburn as like who are going to be the like hot coaches, the commodities this year. I think I got one and I don't like it. It's Womack. I think Kane Womack is going to be a guy.
I think they'll go after Rhett Lashley.
Wait, who?
Rhett Lashley.
Okay, so I don't hate that. I think the thing is, though, Auburn wants to come out with a big name, or they want to take someone from Tuscaloosa. Like that's that. Like they're going to go after Grubb if he has a great season. They want to go after Kane, or they sell their soul to the devil and they offer Lane Kiffin a blank check. I think this is
Dan Mullen.
Probably like. I think Dan Mullen. I think whoever said Dan Mullen's a great one. The problem is though is that Dan doesn't like to recruit. Like that's why he's out in Vegas right now. That's why Florida.
How he blew that? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, look, he had a great team there, and I thought he did a really good job developing players. Like I thought they were the only team in 2020 that could have beat us, especially that offense. If they had any look of defense, they might have won the national championship that year. Not kidding. They wasted Todd Grantham defense. It was awful. I think Auburn right now, they need to either hit lightning in a bottle this year. We're talking like 2013 level of just like, they don't have to win it all, but they need to split between Alabama and Georgia. And they need to at least have 8 wins this whole make it to the Birmingham Bowl isn't good enough for this fan base. And I know it's not like, and even their fans are like, I have friends like being from Mobile. I have a lot of friends like who are diehard Tiger fans, and I feel kind of guilty for them because they're just like, like being fun at being basketball good is fun, like going to the Final Four is cool, but like I would love to go to like a New Year's Six bowl again. I would love to beat Bama again. I would love to win the SEC. They haven't won the SEC since 2013. I think right now they need to knock it out of the park this year, but I don't think it's going to happen because of that schedule. No. And then I think if they need to bring in the right guy so they don't lose all these recruits, like they need to go get a guy.
Dan Lanning.
I mean, like Dan's not leaving that Nike money. I think you have a better.
But they're going to call him.
They're going to call him. They're going to call Lane. Yeah. They're going to call Freeman. They're going to call. Lincoln Riley. They're going to call. I think. They're going to call the guy from Arizona State. I think would be a great one. The problem is I don't know how he would do out here. I feel like Arizona State's a great place for him. I love the guy at Tulane. I think he would be great as well. But I think they're gonna go after a big name just to appease their fans because the last couple of years, if you looked at it, no one really knew about Harsin, and look how that turned out. And then Hugh Freeze had an awful, rap sheet when he came in.
Who would be a nightmare to end up at Auburn for Alabama fans? I think. Alex Galesh.
Oh, I hate that.
Isn't he at Tulane or South Florida?
No, he's at
South Florida, man. Those defenses that he has, like he gets after it, man. He fears no one, and I love that about him.
Yeah, I love that kid.
If Napier doesn't survive this season, I think that's who Florida goes after down the road. The one I have a theory, and it's a crazy theory, but I think it's still in play. Where is Gus Malzahn this year?
He's the OC at Florida State.
Yeah, and I think they have not had success since then, and it's been a couple years. They're done with this buyout. A reunion, maybe. I mean, he's done it before. He was there when Chiswick was there. You get the Gus Plus back in Auburn. I mean, how great would that be?
I don't know why they got rid of him.
Because they got tired of losing to Alabama. But even though he's
the only one that beat him.
He's statistically, I think, the best coach against Nick Saban in Alabama. I know Hugh Freeze won twice, but Gus won 13,
he was 17,
19.
Yeah. He won, but
So I think he won 3 out of the 5 that Saban lost because he lost. Saban lost 1 to Tubbs.
Yep.
And then
lost one to Cam Newton. I'm not giving Gene Chizik any of that credit. And then
that's what it was. Tubbs, Chizik, and then the 3 to Gus.
Yeah. I think Auburn this year, it's a pick or break. I think they're going to be the team that is either going to go up in flames like Florida State did last year, or they overachieve and be this year's Indiana. I don't think there's any in between.
Really?
Like they're either going to crash and burn early. I mean, it could start week 1 at Baylor. Baylor is not a bad team this year.
Yeah, Baylor's going to be interesting.
It is. And Friday night game, all eyes are going to be on them, so they can't hide when the rest of the teams are playing.
Friday night game. Auburn play a game on any night of the week. They don't play on Tuesday night if you ask them.
I know, which I'm actually kind of like. I'm going to be at Ohio State, Texas. My first time going to the Horseshoe. I'm really excited.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'm pumped. I got a buddy up here in Chicago. He covers Ohio State. So I'm going to do like the whole press thing there.
Cool.
I've never been to Columbus. I kind of want to experience. It's going to be a great game. Texas. And then right when the game ends, right into Florida State, Alabama, which is going to be just a slaughter. I can't wait to watch. My least favorite team. I hate Florida State more than any school in America.
It's so poetic how this is set up. You know, with FSU getting left out of the playoffs a couple of years ago and all the whining and complaining, and then
that was hysterical.
Norvell and them just just raping Alabama.
13-0, and the committee
retired.
Most people know this. Like, I grew up a Gator, and I grew up hating Florida State and Georgia and Tennessee. So like, it's kind of nice the fact that like when I went to school at Bama, I got to change most of my hate towards them. All I had to do was add Auburn in there, and then I will never ever cheer for Florida State in anything. I never will, and I never have. I'm not going to Tallahassee. It's my least favorite college town in America. It's a dump.
Blame you.
It's a dump. It's going to be 1,000.
Back with the STD if you go there. Rod, you hear me?
It's a look. I'm sure there are a lot of great people who went there. I've met some great people who went there. But I have no desire to go into that game.
Dude,
yeah.
Not clean.
I've been quite a few times. I just have no desire to ever go back.
No, you're fair. We do this thing whenever we travel. We like to go to different stadiums and check them out. So like Columbus, I've been up there. You're gonna absolutely love it.
Can't wait. Never been.
Couple summers ago, I live on the East Coast in Florida. We drove over to Orange Beach. I'm from Alabama originally, but I was like, let's stop in Tallahassee and check out Doak Campbell. And I mean, dude, there's no telling that I didn't walk away with like hepatitis or just these places. You're not wrong, dude.
The door handles there.
I will say the game day experience there. I will give it. It is pretty cool watching Renegade and the Spear, the no when they're good. Like I think college football is good when Miami and Florida State are relevant.
I agree with that.
I agree with that. Just personally, right now, I want like Bama USC 2016. I want 52-6. I want us to have an open quarterback competition in the middle of a game like we did. Like I want that fan base to walk away knowing that we broke them in 2017 and that we're going to break them again in 2025. That's how bad I want this game.
So I actually feel like Alabama's approach is going to be a little more old school in that game.
Yeah.
I think they're going to ground and pound this one out and put that offensive line to the test, kind of break them in. You say that. And I got, there was a buddy of mine who was in Chicago who works for the athletic department, and we were talking, and there was a little bit of a understanding that maybe we're going to sleepwalk through this game. We're going to go in, take care of business, get out. That quarterback for Boston, or who transferred from Boston College, might have just sealed their fate. Dude, no kidding. I didn't think about that.
They heard that. They are pissed. Like, you see recruits
and
players laughing underneath it. Like,
a freaking moron.
You could have had the chance to come in and catch Bama off guard with Gus Malzahn's offense and all this, and the trick plays and here and there. Oh no, like that's out the window now. Like, you royally messed up, because it's not only did they put it on the internet for everyone to see, It is now inside the facility of the locker rooms and the players' mindsets. And a defense, by the way, that's returning 9 starters that are pissed off because a lot of people thought the defense last year wasn't all that good when they were actually a top 10 defense.
Really pretty good.
They were top 10. But after the Vandy game, I thought that they made some great adjustments. It wasn't their fault that we lost Oklahoma, and it wasn't our fault that we lost Tennessee. But if you look at the Vandy game, we're one of the best defenses in the country. And you awoke a sleeping giant. Like, do you remember how petty our defense was? They sent all our starters back in there in the Missouri
to hold that shutout.
Yeah.
What do you think that they're going to do week 1 to make a statement on national TV? Like, I'm talking like, and this kid is like, I think what, like 5'9", if that, in cleats. Like, this is, I was like, thank God he said this. Like, I was actually like thankful that they gave them a little bit of motivation. Because if you look at it, not a lot of players or teams give Bama a lot of motivations for these reasons.
Yeah, exactly. It never bodes well for them.
It's like you don't trash talk Michael Jordan back in the day, because then he'd hang 55 on you out of spite.
It's like trash talking Tom Brady. Like, okay, watch this. I'm gonna throw for 400.
Yeah, Honey Badger tried it once.
I think it was great for us. I think it was like, hey, like, people don't fear us anymore. Okay, watch this. That's the way I'm looking at it. That's what I've been told that some of the other guys are looking at it wise. I think that this is going to be a masterclass defensive shutdown performance. I think it's going to be, I think offensively, I'm excited to see what we can do. But I'm not worried about what Florida State's going to do on offense, especially with the guys we have coming back, especially with the motivational factors, and especially the fact that they're going to have a 5'9" quarterback who's not even that good, who got benched at Boston College, coming into Tallahassee with arguably one of the worst offensive lines in the ACC.
Just got to be ready for that hurry up. You just got to be ready to quick rotations and hurry up. That's Gus's really biggest weapon.
Cruz,
that would have worked. That would have worked when we had like I'm thinking like Terrence Cody and Reggie Ragland and our linebackers who were like 240. Now everyone on our team runs like a 4.3.
Cruz, we have a
funny question.
A member question for you, if that's okay. All right. Herb and Raj podcast, they're members of the show. They asked, what's your dream national championship matchup this year? Obviously, it's Alabama and somebody.
Bama by 100.
I don't have a dream. I have a dream top 4. If I can do that, I got no particular order either. I think Notre Dame's going to be back there. Love what they have coming back. I love their running backs of the offensive line. I think Notre Dame will be in there. Bama, a team that I think finally gets over the hump and will be there at the end of the year is Penn State. And I would love to see Bama play Penn State in the semifinals. I think they have
that'd be cool.
2 1,000-yard rushers. They have great receivers. I think this is like James Franklin's best team he's had since Saquon Barkley and Trace McSorley and all those guys were there. I think it's a really good team. If they just got to get over the hump. They get Oregon at home, and they get Ohio State on a noon game, which would be good. And then the one team I want to see back in and really make some noise this year. I want to see Bama Clemson. I want to see it. I need it back in my life. I want Bama Clemson. I want that get back.
Dude,
I want it. That's
it. Clemson. Oh, I can't stand Clemson for many reasons, but the fact that they lost to Ohio State in 2020, so we could not play the prince we were promised, Trevor Lawrence. Oh yeah. So we couldn't run their ass out of the stadium because we owed them. And then they piked against Ohio State, and we had to kick Ohio State the ass instead. But I wanted Clemson so bad in that year.
Well, it's funny. So the buddy of mine who works for Ohio State, we actually had this conversation not too long ago. He said they went balls to the wall for that game of getting cheated out of the 2019 game where Ohio State did get kind of robbed on a fumble, scoop and score. And so a lot of those guys came back for that reason for Ohio State. Well, when they landed Clemson, they looked their chops. Like they put everything they had in that game. And a lot of those guys was like, it's kind of like, do you remember Miracle where it's like they beat Russia, but then everyone forgets that they actually had to go play another game after beating Russia?
Play Sweden, I think, in the gold medal match.
They played Sweden. Sweden was giving it to them for a little bit. That was kind of like for them. And it was one of those things where I've never asked any of the former players this. I'm sure, like, if I asked, they would probably say, but like, they wanted Clemson too. Like, they wanted it.
God,
like, that's all they went into that season, and it would have been
the only thing I wanted.
I actually think it would have been worse. It would have been worse for that what we did to Ohio State.
We would have slaughtered them. We would have slaughtered Clemson.
I don't think any team except Florida. Florida was the only team that could beat us that year, and I truly believe that offensively, just because they had the weapons to keep up. But I think
that game, once we got up by like 2 scores in that game, I was like, all right, we're going to be good because Florida can't stop anything. And then we couldn't either.
No,
so once we were like 2 scores, 2 possessions ahead where they could never just quite catch us, I knew we were okay, but we weren't going to stop a thing.
The Will Anderson strip sack would save the game for us, honestly.
Yeah. And that Mechie hit off that pick.
Yeah, I think that was like the Mechie hit, but the one no one really ever talks about is the Will Anderson strip sack.
Right.
We got a field goal out of that, but still the fact that like
3 big points.
His 3 massive points. I mean, that was a 4-point swing for us, I think. That would have been, they would have gone down, would have been tied. And I think too, oh God, who was I'm trying to remember who was our punter in 2020. We didn't really punt the ball a lot.
So both times we punted?
Yeah. So I just remember I don't think it was Burnham. I think Burnham's first year was 2021.
Yeah.
But regardless, we pinned him back like in the 5 with like 15 seconds ago, and I was like, yeah, that was it. But that would be my dream matchup. I think Bama, Penn State in the semifinals versus Clemson and who did I say the other one? Clemson and
Notre Dame.
I think that would be a great game. And then I'd be fine with playing Notre Dame or Clemson in the Natty, because I think I would love to play Notre Dame again. And then I'm sure they'd love to play us. And then, of course, like getting the look back against Clemson, it would be weird seeing, Saban, a non-Saban Bama Clemson game, but Dabo versus DeBoer would be sick to watch.
I agree.
But I want to be in the road whites though. That's what I want. I want to be in the all whites unis. Yes. But I think that. God, Notre Dame, Bama would be such a great uniform game. If they could both wear the home jerseys or we can wear the aways, I think that would just be chef's kiss.
Man, the white unis are second to none, in my opinion.
I know, God, and I'm one of the weird ones that want white helmets just for one game. I just want one game.
Cotton does too.
I want one game, and I want to do it for homecoming. I want to do it. Like, I want to do it for homecoming. See how the reception is, and then if it's great, I'm like, let's like make it like a yearly thing. I'm tired of people being like, oh, we can't do white helmets, this and that. And I'm like, just go back and look at pictures. We've already done it before. It's not like we're reinventing the wheel here. It's not like we're doing a black.
The gray hairs need to calm down, and things modernize. It's okay to change things up sometimes.
Exactly. I know. Oh, we see game day picker.
Yes.
Man, never. I'm good. I worked college game day in SEC Nation a few times for my actual job, and I'd be okay with not ever being a guest picker because the amount of work that goes into it and behind the scenes stuff, like it's a long day. I'd be okay with not doing it, but I will definitely be on set. I'm normally when SEC Network is behind the scenes at Tuscaloosa. I'll go say hi to my old coworkers. I'll go say hi to Tim.
Yeah.
Things like that. And then game day, I don't really know anyone who works at game day anymore. I do, like, I have a relationship with Reese Davis.
Yeah, sure.
But other than that, I don't know any of the other guys. I mean, obviously Saban, but what am I going to do? Like, text him and be like, "What up?"
You ever see Marty Smith around there?
Yeah.
Speaking of, I knew this was going to come because we've all seen him in the press box suite, so we got to ask.
That was going to be one of my introduction points. Was breaker of the internet, Cruz Oxenreider.
Okay. So can I actually like tell the story because I've actually never told it.
Yeah. Can I preface it though?
Yeah,
can I preface it? Because I'm watching that game, and
yes,
I'm kind of new to Twitter at the time.
Yeah,
and it shows you, and I like pause it really quick, and I'm like, I know that dude. I know that dude from somewhere. And I get on social media, I'm like, shit, that's Cruz.
Anyway, I sent the text to the group, and I was like, that's Cruz. That's the guy I'm trying to get on the show. Like that's him.
Yeah,
holy shnikes.
You and
Nick
about
Saban's right behind him,
5,000
like tapping him on the shoulder, asking him questions.
So this is what happened. I was up in the zone. A buddy of mine got me a ticket. I'm not a big I like being in the crowd. I like being in the stands. I don't like being in a suite. I cheer. I want to watch the game. I don't want to socialize, things like that. Now, granted, it was Western Kentucky. I think we were up 42-0 at halftime.
Yeah, it was
so my friend, who everyone knows, Kristen Saban, texted me and was like, "Hey, do you want to come say hi at halftime? You just come over to where we're sitting, and I'll come say hi." I'm like, "Yeah, sure." It's I'd love to. So I take my buddy with me, Hunter Johnson, another Twitter guy. So take him with me.
Legend.
Yeah, take him with me. I say hi. I start talking. I didn't realize when I got there though, I thought I was just gonna say hi outside the suite because I didn't want to intrude or anything like that because I'm sure they had a ton of people there and I didn't want to intrude. Well, she's like, "Are you coming in or not?" And I was like, I kind of hesitated a little bit just because I'm I didn't know what I was walking into. So I go in and I walk in and it is Nick, it's Kool-Aid McKinstry, it's Terrion Arnold, it's JT Latham. It's the week before the NFL season starts, so they're all back in town.
Sure.
I've met Terrion. That was my third time meeting Terrion. I'd never met Kool-Aid, but he knew who I was because I made a New Orleans Saints meme when he got drafted. He was when I introduced myself, he was like, "Oh, I know who you are." And then I never met JC, but he was a super nice guy. So then Miss Terry was there. She says hi. We met and talked a few times. She's asked me how my parents are, how my sister's doing, things like that. So then second half starts. I'm thinking okay, we're gonna walk back to our seats. We're gonna, finish the rest of the game. I'll see you guys later. I'm sure you guys are busy. Well, they asked if we want. They had 2 open seats. In the row in front of them. So they're like, "Hey, do you guys just want to sit down and watch the rest of the game with us?"
Gee,
I'm not gonna say no to that.
Right.
And so we sit down. I'm not really trying to talk too much because I didn't know what the vibe was in the box or anything like that with them watching the game. So then Mama Terry is asking me questions, this and that, and I'm being polite and everything. And so the next thing I know is I see him come and sit down. He's right in front of me. And I'm like, "Oh, crap." And I'm like, "Oh, please don't say anything stupid," in my mind. So then everything's going fine. And then,
I would have.
as if you've been to Bryant-Denny, you don't really get a lot of cell service. So, and I'm not connected to Wi-Fi. So, we're all, me, Kristen, and Hunter are kind of talking. And so I'm not really paying attention to anything and I'm not really getting notifications. And so I'm and I think by that game, I had really kind of stopped tweeting about the game. And so I was just watching and kind of hanging out. Well, so we leave the game and we're walking to, I think it was either Ennis or Sessions, and we're leaving. And all of a sudden my phone just won't stop vibrating. And my first instinct was "Oh my God, someone died." Because there's no way I should have any text messages.
Yeah.
Somebody's trying to reach out.
And I just see pictures and tweets and text messages. And I'm like, "Oh my God."
I was one of them.
Yeah. I was I did not expect any of that. And I'm sure there were dozens and dozens I missed. So so my notifications on Twitter are only on for people I follow. So that's why I see y'all stuff all the time and things like that. And I respond, but I was not prepared for that at all. And the best one is the best picture ever. And shout out to Nick Sneed, who runs Innisfree in Tuscaloosa, got this incredible picture of me. And it is me looking at the game and I'm watching it and I'm hands are crossed. And you just see Nick, he's watching the game, but it looks like he's staring into the back of my head. Yeah. And then they put it right next between that picture of the Undertaker in the back. And then me just looking forward. And I'll send it to you. It's the greatest thing. But honestly, it was a cool experience. And by the end of the game, I shook his hand, things like that. I know he's, he was, it was very nice for him to even let me stay in there.
Sure, right.
I wasn't even going to go in to begin with, but I'm not just normally sitting in there. It was a one-time thing that
Too late.
I'll have to
Your
be
legend
humble
has
about
grown.
it. You don't have to
You're
be
in there
humble
all
about
the
it, man.
time now, Cruz.
Yeah.
Every game you're in there all the time.
No, definitely not. The one-time thing. I mean, me and Kristen are still really good friends. And, we talk all the time, and we still crack jokes about it every once in a while. Which I'll show the picture.
Awesome.
So
it was so funny
that
how that shot was just like it just popped up, and it was just like you, Kristen, and Coach Saban, and we were just sitting there going, "Oh my God, it's Cruz!"
Yeah, I remember texting. I was like, that was Cruz, man.
He's just chilling the most up in Saban's suite. No big deal. I'm just watching the game, having a bud. No thing.
No, I was not drinking in the box with him. No, I had 0 alcoholic beverages when I got to their box. I wanted to be respectful. I was
he shotgunned them all on his way to the door. He was double fisted.
I'll put it like this: I did throw my drink away before I walked into the suite. I did. I was wanting to make sure. I was a little overcautious for a good reason.
Yeah.
And then Big Al came in the box, and I was just like, what is happening right now? And so, and then of course Hunter Johnson,
awesome.
Hunter Johnson's is there, and he's just like he's just like a little kid in a candy shop. He's like, oh my God, this is great. He's like, I'm on TV too.
Hunter's a trip on Twitter too. If you guys don't follow Hunter, he's a legendary Auburn troll. It's hysterical.
He's the OG me. He really is. So so Hunter was doing this stuff even back when I was in college. So I wasn't big on Twitter in college. I didn't start really getting big on Twitter until about 2018 was really when I started the stuff kind of, or 2017, 2018 is really when my stuff kind of started pop off and things like that. And then it wasn't until COVID, my stuff just took off. The Mac Jones Super Savage stuff, the memes, all these things. And it just kind of snowball effect. So it was never my intention for this to ever become a thing at all. I have a very successful career in marketing and PR, and I was more than happy doing that. I just love football. I love sports. I love making people laugh.
Same.
That's why I don't do it for that. If I find it funny personally, I put it out there. Now if other people find it funny, great, but if not, okay. Half the stuff I think it's funny flops anyways. And then of course the least funny thing I do blows up. My NCAA tweets have been blowing up, honestly. The last couple of days, it's been hilarious.
Yes, and I'd be remiss. We only have you for a few more minutes. I would be remiss if we did not bring up the new college football game, as I've been playing it most of the afternoon. I don't know if you got it Monday.
I did. So funny. I got it last week, actually.
Or last week. Okay, so you've raged on it a good bit. I played it a bunch today. I'm impressed with what I experienced today. I did not play last year's game, but I played it one time for about 2-3 minutes. But that's it. It's I
mean, look, my childhood was NCAA football and Madden. That was my childhood.
Yes.
I still think to this day the greatest college football game ever made is NCAA 2006 with Desmond Howard on it. I think that to this day I would play that, a remastered version of that game, over the new one. And there's no disrespect to this game now. I think it's fantastic. I think they added a lot going into this year. I think they're still like tweaking things here and there.
Yeah.
I think once they make the patches, the game will be a lot more playable. Playing defense in this game is incredibly hard because it just seems like every wide receiver is Calvin Johnson or Julio Jones.
Yes.
I think
it's
great for the younger generation that did not get to play NCAA football. Like I think if you didn't get to play NCAA 14, which I think is the second greatest college football game of all time,
I would agree with that.
With Desmond
Denard Robinson.
Denard Robinson on the cover. I thought that was a fantastic game. I thought I thought it was just great. I just wish that they could just take 06, everything that was great about 06, Road to Glory, College Game Day, the pregame show, like all this stuff that was like, oh my God, this game was made in 2005 and it's still ahead of its time. And then if you took 2014 with the gameplay mechanics, the fluidness, like the player system, Road to Glory, like Heisman moments, and then they didn't really focus that much on the Ultimate Team, which unfortunately they do a lot this year, again, just because EA has to make money. that would be a perfect game. And I think it's still a work in progress. I will say that next year, the NFL license for EA is up, and it's going to be up for grabs, and 2K is going to be a major player in it. And I think the moment that they lose that license to 2K and for Madden, it's all they're going to have to like focus in hard on NCAA. They're going to have to like, hey, like they're going to lose it. Like Madden, the last couple of years have had the worst sales they've ever had because the game is almost unplayable. I'm worried that the same thing is going to happen to NCAA. Now, Madden used to be great. Back when you had Madden and you had NCAA for a month and you had Madden come out right at the same time, and it was like, boom, like which one were you playing today? It was incredible.
Dude, you could dynasty franchise, draft your players into the game. Oh,
and now it's like it's almost like an obligation to like pick one or the other, and I hate that. Like it seemed like after college football was over last year in January, I felt like I only played a little bit more of the college football game after that because like it just didn't feel great. Like it didn't have that playability.
Very seasonal. Yeah.
It didn't feel like it used to, where it's like me and my fraternity brothers, we would throw it on before we went out to the bars, or during COVID, my PS4 broke. I still had my PS3 and I played NCAA Dynasty. During COVID, I completed a 30-year dynasty with South Alabama, which is, by the way, where I started my career this year. I'm still in year one.
Okay.
I made us independent, and what I do is I randomize the schedule. So I have no say in this or anything like that. I picked a random schedule, and God hates me for this reason, because he gave me 7 ranked games, 5 of which are on the road, and the rest are like top of the tier group of 5 teams. So I'm 4-2 right now, which is great. But I have the hardest stretch of my schedule coming up. So I have Alabama at the end of the year, which is not great.
Enjoy.
I got Georgia coming up. I beat Boise, which in like overtime, and I beat Auburn barely. Like it was almost like a miracle beating them. And then I just got absolutely waxed by Texas, and I got beat down by Clemson. Like it wasn't even.
It's
close.
hard playing defense on that game.
It's hard playing defense, and then once you got it, because like I got like a 60 overall quarterback for South Alabama, and all of a sudden you can't audible, so like you change it, like you pick that play, like you're shit.
You're there. Yeah. NCAA 14, I think was, and my personal favorite Maddens were the Madden 14, which was the Madden 25th anniversary.
Oh, with Barry Sanders,
yes,
and then
because they you could draft your 14 players into that game, and I had like a whole dynasty. I spent so much time. I would create players in the NCAA game like Dan Marino for Pitt, and I would create all these old legend players and put them on the college game, and then you draft them into Madden wherever they landed. But the Madden with Drew Brees on the cover, I think that was 11. That was 11, or 9 or 11. But the Madden with Drew Brees on the cover, I think, was my favorite Madden in terms of gameplay, customization. You know the way that game played. That game was awesome.
So I have the only reason I know is 11 is I have it framed because
Drew Brees,
Drew Brees is my coach. So it was the year after we won the Super Bowl. That was a great one, and honestly, the greatest intro to Madden.
Yes.
As well. It is the best, I think, intro to a Madden video game besides that one. And then I think the one with Ray Lewis in 2005. It was either 5 or 6. That intros are electric.
I would agree with that.
And the thing about the college game is like I love. It's so much fun. Like nostalgia is all I've done the last few days. Like I love it. It's fun. It's actually a great way for me to learn the players again.
Yeah,
I thought that was the thing about like the old college games is that one, you get to manually put the names in back in the day.
Oh God,
build character. That built character, and then of course you get to actually like know the players. Like who's backups. You know who's like on the rise. You know the best players on each team. Like you learn so much about other schools. Like, when I was 12 or 11 playing these games, like I would play as like Army or Navy, and then like trying to win the Commander-in-Chief trophy. Like I actually had a vested interest in this in Army Navy games, and then it's like I just remember watching the Army Navy game like in real life with my dad. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm like, this is great, and then immediately go play it on my PS2 afterwards.
I've done that.
I don't get that feeling anymore, and maybe it's just because I'm older. Maybe it's just because it's just different now. But the nostalgia definitely goes away. I think right now it's heavy just because everyone wants football so bad. But it feels like I'm worried that the next, after it's done, the last game is done in Miami at the end of the year. What are they going to do to like keep that live? Like, give me historic teams. Give me like old Heisman players. Give me stuff that has been in the games previously. Like, it's not that hard.
Yes.
Like, it's
really, preach.
Like, not.
Did they bring
It's
mascots?
not that hard. And I think the worst thing that ever happened to Madden, to FIFA, to any sports video games was the My Team and the Ultimate Team, because it's just literally just ripping packs for fake players to do nothing, and they're taking away like why people want to play these games. Like Road to Glory should be out of this world. I don't give a shit, excuse my French, if my guy doesn't study for an exam and I'm going to get penalized for it in this game.
Yes.
I do not care that like I have to, do an NI, like any of that stuff. Like I don't care. I want to play my high school season like I did in 14, not these little mini game moments. I want to actually like do the fun mini games like you did in 06, like Oklahoma drill, passing skeleton, 7-on-7.
Yes.
I want to do. I want the pictures of like my girlfriends. The better I get, the prettier she gets. I want it like the better dorm rooms I get. I want to know my draft rankings. I want to know like all these things. And you've done these before, and you're taking this experience away from like that's why I feel so bad for like the younger generations who this is their first games, because they don't know how great Road to Glory and all these games are. Oh my god, yeah. Whoever said the camera angle in the last game was miserable. The fact that they fixed that this year, thank you. It was impossible to play because like you would see a guy you think's wide open, you chuck it down, intercept. And so I know that I'm preaching and moaning about it, but I feel like it's got the potential to be such a great game that I just hope that it can actually like get back to what it used to be. Not for us, the older fans of the game who know how great it is, but to the younger people that will get people more invested in the college football. And I think Madden this year, Madden's really made a focus on doing Dynasty right this year because they know this is the last year for them. It's basically like they're on the hot seat. This is their Hugh Freeze season. Like this is it. If they suck, 2K's coming down the road, and 2K to this day has one of the greatest football video games of all time in NFL 2K5. It is, if you've never played it, go on YouTube.
No, I never have.
Watch it. It is one of the best football gaming experiences you will ever have. Like I would go play that now. It's been what, 20 years now? It's been 20 years.
When did that exclusivity agreement? When did 2K have to stop making
06
NFL games?
05 was the last one. EA Sports and the NFL signed it, and then 2K started focusing on NBA. So once that happened, they stopped focusing on NBA Live, and then they really started focusing on 2K. So that's why you look at the 2K college basketball games and the 2K NBA. They crushed everything that NCAA or that EA did. Now the fact that we have EA basketball coming back, oh my gosh, like no one's gonna touch that game if 2K takes over. Like it's game over.
Yeah, college baseball game would be tasty too. Just saying.
I don't think they're gonna do the big market college baseball game. Not because I don't think it would sell. It's just such a hard game to make because there's so many teams and so many players and so much that has to go into it. Like if when you do MLB The Show, they put so much in depth, like attention to it, it's because there's only so many teams, and that's how they can make it as good as they do. And they do road road to the show and things like that.
Yeah.
If you do college baseball, that game would take so long to make because of all the players, all the stadiums, all the teams. And then, of course, like, it would be awesome. Like, I think that's why this year MLB did the college, like high school and college. You can win. You can go to Omaha and do that. And I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
I don't think it would be worth their while for EA or 2K to do that, money wise. And of course, like, I'm just going off of what I think, but like,
yeah.
Well, Cruz, dude, we want to be respectful of your time, and I know you said you got a hard stop, dude. So
thank you so much.
Oh no!
How are you spending this, man? It's been great.
It's been great. I love being able to come on and do this stuff, especially like talking ball. I mean, a lot of people just see me as a floating head on Twitter, and there's like, this guy has no idea what he's talking about. Hopefully, some people will see this and be like, "Damn, that guy actually knows what he's talking about."
Yes, very much he does.
But
Where can they find you, Cruz?
It's been a pleasure. I definitely want to come on again during the season, so we'll try and make it work. If you guys want to follow me on Twitter, I make really good memes. I don't make fun of just one specific team. I make fun of everyone's team, including my own. So it was great talking to you guys, and I can't wait to do this again.
Yeah, dude. Man.
Yeah, make sure you go follow Cruz on TikTok too, guys.
Yes, I'm posting all the Bama games and everything like that.
Yes, sir. It's good stuff.
Roll Tide, brother.
Cruz, appreciate you, brother.
Thanks again.
Bye, guys.
See you, buddy.
All right, that was good. That went well. Well,
that dude's awesome, man. That guy's awesome. He knows Bama stuff. He'll talk about anything. Unlike this video games chatting too. Sorry, Lance. You just have to deal with it.
Shout out to Ben Paris, our newest Waaaay Offsides member. Thank you, Ben, for sticking around with us. If you guys
all about the
Benjamins, the link is in the chat. It's pinned to the top of the chat. That's something you definitely are going to want to do. We're going to have something special for our Waaaay Offsides members during the first weekend down there in Tallahassee. So anyway, Jeff, it's been a crazy day, and I know that you've been prepping for all of this stuff with Cruz. I'm going to show you something on the screen, and I want you to tell me what you noticed differently. Can you do that?
Sure.
Okay, it's our updated Whoop board. Are you ready?
Always.
Here we go. Prepare yourself. There you go, man. What do you see different?
See a new name on said Whoop board.
Chat, what do you see different there? Tell us.
Eyeballs. My eyeballs tweet right here. Just eyeballs.
Let's see what chat's saying. Lance, okay, we're bringing your T levels.
Chicks dig video games, Lance.
Yeah,
deal with it.
So there it is. KJ Ford. Now, what's interesting here is last week, KJ Ford, per Hayes Fawcett and On 3, dropped his final 3, and I believe it was. Correct me if I'm wrong here, guys. I believe it was Oregon, A&M, and Florida. Alabama was not part of that final 3. Well, then out of nowhere today, behind the scenes, Andrew Bones, Steve Wiltfong, everybody pretty much starts predicting KJ Ford to land at Alabama. AK, that's okay, man. I want you to watch the other video. I want you
to watch them all, please.
Watch it. And so, so 4-star edge out of Duncanville, Texas, previously teammates with Alabama quarterback Keelan Russell, will be committing tomorrow, and it looks like the Tide are the favorite now to land him. Now, my understanding here is that he always wanted it to be Alabama. Bama just had to get the numbers right.
Who doesn't?
We know that's kind of the thing here. Alabama had to make the numbers work, and apparently they were able to do that, and it looks like KJ Ford will land in Tuscaloosa. Now, chat, I want to hear from you. I've been posed this question about 10 times a day. Does this impact the commitment of Anthony Tank Jones? I want to hear what you have to think, and then I'll give you my thoughts. Jeff, I know you don't care, but Jeff's like, God, I got burritos in the microwave, man. Hurry up.
Burritos in the microwave.
Talking recruiting. What are we doing? See the chat. Nope. And yes, I agree with you, Tim. I don't think this impacts that decision very much. And this is why, to Jay Bake's point here, the recruits have to look past their freshman year and do a little calculator math in terms of I believe he's talking about more NIL. But when you look at long term, what Alabama's losing on that defensive line and at that rush position after this season, I think there's plenty of room for both guys. I don't think it's as impactful as a lot of people want you to think. I think some opposing fan bases are going to feed off that narrative because there's a lot of people in the hunt for a guy like Tank Jones. I think Jones, outside of the position he plays, he's a don't miss guy. He's a can't miss guy for Alabama and this staff because he's in state. He's the number 2 player. I think personally he's the number 1 player in the state of Alabama. Some outlets have him as the number 2 player behind Sedarian Morgan. I think Bama's they really need to clean sweep all 3. They've already got 2 verbal commitments from
that'd be nice.
Crowell and Morgan. I just, everything looks like it's leaning. Bama, Texas A&M is in play here big time. They're not going to give up easily. We all know what Texas A&M is doing right now, recruiting and how they're doing it.
They definitely won't go quietly.
No, they won't. They won't. And then Oregon is the other team to watch for Tank. Those are his final 3. So, could Alabama potentially get both? Absolutely. I think they could. I think there's a good chance that they could. There's room for both of them. As BD James here says, I agree with you. There absolutely is room for both guys. Especially when you look at like Tank and maybe a Xavier Griffin, how versatile those guys are and where they can kind of be plugged in different places at the linebacker position or on that defensive line. I really don't think it's going to be a problem. I'm sure they did, Lance. I'm sure they did.
They'll find room for him. If he wants to play ball here, they'll find room for him.
Yeah. And Tim, yes, that was something that we saw last year with the defense. There was almost a constant rotation going on at that rush position on the edge, the defensive line. And so I feel pretty strong that Bama's got a pretty good shot at both of them. Is the most critical? No, I don't think he's critical. I think Bama will be fine without him. I just think in terms of the state, because we kind of see the writing on the wall right now. In terms of little brother across the road, in terms of Auburn, right? Auburn won the state last year in terms of recruiting, but they did because Kalen DeBoer didn't have time to get in there and get established, build those foundational relationships to win the state. If Alabama goes and wins the state, sweeps the state this year, and keeps these guys home. Well, keep in mind, the best player in the state of Alabama last year didn't stay home either. He didn't go to Auburn. He didn't go to Alabama. Naeem Offord. So if Alabama can keep this guy in state along with Sedarian Morgan and Xavier Crowell, it sets a nasty narrative for the barn. And we all know how they're recruiting right now. And I don't think that's necessarily going to change much for the time being. I think, they're going to be able to flip a couple of guys at some point in time, but I don't think that I think to Cruz's point earlier, people are starting to figure it out down there on the plains. And so, no, I don't think so. I think Caleb Downs was probably pretty crucial to Alabama's defense, but their secondary did fine last season without him. So,
yeah, that wasn't the biggest issue on the defense. Was the safety position? Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, Bray Hubbard filled in just fine. They got to get the number right though, as well with Tank.
Yeah, I mean that's a factor. You got to get you got to get the numbers right. You got to get the bag right. That's a factor. That's the world we live in.
Yeah. There you go, Tim. That's exactly what I was kind of referencing earlier. I agree with you 100%. So, he does.
You got as good a shot as anyone.
Yeah, I think he does. Hey, look, dude, if you go watch this kid, Tank could play wide receiver. I think he does some a little bit, actually. And so, I mean,
hey,
I don't know
most of these D1 recruits,
college level, but
most of these D1 recruits in high school never come off the field. They're special teams, offense, defense. Remember we had Zay on Griffin. He was talking about how he never came off the field for
he was like
the last 2 years. He was like, I'm never off the field.
Yeah.
High school, they're like, if you're the best player, you're never coming off.
Is the Yellowwood money not as green as it used to be? I think that those boosters, honestly, there's a short lease for Hugh Freeze. I think that if they're going to continue to invest, and I've said this several times, at some point in time, those boosters are going to go, this isn't sustainable. We're not dumping money into a coach who can't win at a high level anymore. And I think they might be waiting to see what Auburn does. If Auburn goes and has a couple of good games, to start off their season, you're going to start seeing those recruiting numbers go up, and that's going to be because of the boosters reinvesting into Hugh Freeze. But if Auburn goes and lays an egg against Baylor, surely if they were to lose to South Alabama, which they're not going to, but if they were to lose to South Alabama, all of a sudden, we all know that's probably the end of the line for Hugh Freeze. So why invest more money into him recruiting when you're going to have to do it all over again with another guy? So I don't think that the money isn't as green as it used to be. I just think that they're being more careful with it. And I think that that's why Auburn is pushing the narrative that they're interpreting the house settlement rules differently than everybody else. They're not. You're telling me Auburn's the only school in the country that's doing that? Like there is no right way. There are no rules. There's a cap and that's it. And yes, even rich dudes do have a limit. So I agree. So how you doing, Mimi? Good to see you.
Well, I mean, what is Hugh Freeze, like 4-20 in his last 24 SEC ranked games?
And everybody tried to tell Auburn, like, the only thing Hugh Freeze did when he was at Ole Miss that was of note was beat Nick Saban. Outside of that, he never competed for an SEC championship. He never made a playoff, never competed for a national championship. No Heisman winners, nothing like that. And you went and got him. Not only that,
he was even worse at Auburn.
Yeah, he was recruiting at the level he was recruiting at Ole Miss, doing some pretty shady stuff, some pretty nasty stuff that we all have to assume he's not ballsy enough to do that now at Auburn. Because honestly, if some of the stuff that was out there is true, the dude belongs in jail. But if he can't do that at Auburn now, so maybe he can't recruit as well. He caught fire in a bottle when Nick Saban retired, and he could dominate the state, but he couldn't even keep the state's number one player at home. He couldn't
beat the worst Alabama team in 17 years.
Yeah. And so, Auburn
had 5 turnovers in that game, and we won. We had 5 turnovers, and Auburn still lost.
Auburn wants to play the righteous game with their recruiting class, and right, wrong, or indifferent, what they're not talking about is the fact that Hugh Freeze he had a top 10 class last year, but again, they wanted to talk about winning the state. They weren't able to keep the number one guy at home. Alabama still, even with Kalen DeBoer not winning the state, they still finished in the top 3.
Something to be said for that.
And figure that out. And then if what Cruz is talking about is legit, and that the folks there at Auburn really don't care for Hugh Freeze,
Why would they? He's a loser.
Well, after Florida got embarrassed at home by Miami last year, everybody was kind of fed up with Billy Napier until he made the change that everybody was waiting on. Well, he's kind of forced into it when Graham got hurt, but with DJ Lagway. But I think in this sense, like Auburn's a more realistic version of what we thought Florida was going to be last year. Like Auburn is on a very short leash in what they're going to allow out of that team. Because Cruz is right. We don't want to talk about it because we're all Alabama fans, but Auburn has a pretty talented team going into 2025. They do have a really good group of wide receivers. Jackson Arnold is a better quarterback than he looked like at Oklahoma. He was throwing to 5th string wide receivers and still beat Alabama.
You're right.
It wasn't the defense's fault, but still. If Auburn can't beat Baylor, they lose. I mean, if they're not in the hunt for an SEC championship game, then Hugh Freeze is probably out. They're gonna especially if they lose to Alabama at home. Hugh Freeze is probably out. The Auburn Anonymous guys said that they felt like we would fire Kalen DeBoer if they lost to Auburn. Well, that's just deflection. That's what Auburn's fans do. They deflect their own insecurities on.
He's not going to lose
to us.
He's not going to lose that game.
Even if he loses to Auburn, we're not going to fire the dude. That's stupid. But
but like Cruz said, who will Auburn's coach be by the time the Iron Bowl gets here? Who will the interim coach be? Gussie Poo? No, he's at Florida State. What's the DC? The defense? Durkin?
Who are you talking about? I'm not paying any.
The Auburn DC. Durkin, will he be the interim coach by the time the Iron Bowl gets here?
Probably.
Because Cruz said he doesn't think Hugh's making it to the Iron Bowl.
Oh, DJ Durkin.
whatever his name is. So we'll see. We shall see. I do appreciate Cruz coming on, though. That was very nice of him to give us an hour tonight.
Nice.
And
it was
he knows
nice.
his stuff. So y'all go give Cruz a follow. He's hysterical on Twitter, man. His Hayes Fawcett tweets and memes are hysterical.
They are. Well, all right, Jeff. I think that's about it for the night. How you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. Appreciate everybody joining the chat. Sorry if you got bored by video game talk.
Not my
may not
fault.
be the last time you hear video game talk on the show.
Yes,
Just
we will,
saying.
Tim. Yes, we will. Just like last year.
Yes,
100%. Those are coming up.
Do that.
A lot of
we'll have Cruz on about mid-season 2 health check. Hopefully, Bama will be
in good position.
In good position. Good.
Yep.
By the time we do a mid-season health check, we have some of these folks back on. So appreciate everybody joining us tonight. Sorry we bumped you an hour early. That was kind of a last-minute thing. We wanted to
everybody
accommodate our guest.
Showed up anyway, and it was really nice. So God bless you all. As always, make sure you're subscribed. Tell somebody about us. That's your homework this week. Tell at least 5 people about Waaaay Offsides and make them sub.
That's 4 A's. Tell them, Skip.
Waaaay, this is all caps. Waaaay. Waaaay.
With
right.
4 A's.
4 A's.
All right, man. As always, say your prayers, read your Bibles, wash your hands, horns down. Beat Auburn and LSU and Tennessee too. We'll see you tomorrow, KJ Ford. Roll Tide.
Rolleth.